good. Do you spend most of your time indoors or outdoors? Do you spend most of your time indoors or outdoors? I spend most
I
of my
spend
time.
most my time outdoors.
Very good. Okay. What do we call this joint of the leg? What do we call this joint of the leg? We call
We
that
call
joint of the leg.
of the leg.
We call that
We
joint,
call that part,
that joint
that joint
of the leg,
of the
a
leg,
knee.
a knee.
On what occasions do people kneel? On what occasions do people kneel? The occasions
The
on which
occasions
people kneel
on which people
are
kneel
when they say
are when they
their
say
prayers,
their
etc.
prayers, etc.
Right? Who was the leader of the late government in your country? Who was the leader of the late government in your country? The leader of the
The
late
leader
government
of the late
in my
government
country
in my
was
country
Mr. Suga.
was Mr. Sugar.
What do we mean when we speak about the late Mr. Johnson? What do we mean when we speak about the late Mr. Johnson? When we speak about
When we speak
the
about
late Mr. Johnson,
the late Mr.
we
Johnson,
mean the Mr.
we
Johnson
mean the Mr.
who
Johnson
was recently died.
who was recently died.
Have you seen any good films at the cinema lately? Have you seen any good films at the cinema lately? Yes or no?
No,
I haven't seen
I haven't
any
seen
good films
any good
at the
films
cinema lately.
at the cinema lately.
Like, do many women like to match their handbags with their shoes? Do many women like to match their handbags with their shoes? Yes, many
Yes,
women
many
like
women
to match their
like to match
handbags
their
with
handbags
their shoes.
with their shoes.
Like, do you think a small man who was good at judo would be a match for a big man who knew how to box? Do you think a small man who was good at judo would be a match for a big man who knew how to box? Yes or no?
No,
I don't think a
I don't
small
think
man
a small
who was
man
good at judo
who was good at judo
would be a match
would be a
for a big
match
man
for a big man
who knew how to
who
box.
knew how to box.
Our football matches usually held at the weekend or during the week. Our football matches usually held at the weekend or during the week. Football matches
Football
are
matches
usually held
are usually held
at the weekend.
as a weekend.
Where what color clothes do European people usually wear for a funeral? What color clothes do European people usually wear for a funeral? European people
European people
usually wear black
usually wear
for
black
a funeral.
for a funeral.
Where do you like reading mystery stories? Do you like reading mystery stories? Yes or no?
Yes,
I like reading
I like reading
mystery stories.
mystery stories.
Very good. Why do we have a path in a garden? Why do we have a path in a garden? We have a path
We have a
in a
path
garden so that
in a garden so
people don't
that
walk
people don't
on the
walk
grass
on the
or
grass
on the flowers.
on the flowers.
Very good. Is it the law in your country that everyone has to insure their car against accidents? Is it the law in your country that everyone has to insure their car against accidents? Yes or no?
Yes,
It's the law in my
it's a
country
law in my
that
country
everyone
that
has to
everyone
insure their car
has to insure their car
against accidents.
against accident.
Very good. Do you have any insurance against loss or theft for your personal possessions? Do you have any insurance against loss or theft for your personal possessions? Yes or no?
Yes,
I have some
I
insurance
have some insurance
against loss or theft
against loss
for
or
my
theft
personal
for
possessions.
my personal possessions.
Very good. What do we call the chair a king or queen sits on? What do we call the chair a king or queen sits on? We call the chair
We call the
a
chair
king or queen
a king or
sits
queen
on a throne.
sits on a throne.
Very good. Does it annoy you when you're watching a film at the cinema and someone in the audience keeps talking? Does it annoy you when you're watching a film at the cinema and someone in the audience keeps talking? Yes or no?
Yes,
It annoys me
it annoys me
when I'm watching a film
when I'm watching a film
at the cinema
at the
and
cinema
someone in the audience
and someone in the
keeps
audience
talking.
keeps talking.
Very good. If a fly was flying around your head while you were trying to fall asleep, would you get annoyed or would you be able to ignore it? If a fly was flying around your head while you were trying to fall asleep, would you get annoyed or would you be able to ignore it? If a fly
If a
was
fly
flying around
is flying around
my head
my head
while I was trying
while I was trying
to fall asleep,
to fall asleep,
I'd get annoyed.
I'd get a noise.
Very good. What do you think is the best thing to do for a sore throat? What do you think is the best thing to do for a sore throat? I think
I
the
think
best thing to do
the best thing to do
for a sore throat
for a sore throat
is to gargle
is to
warm
gargle
water
warm water
with salt.
with salt.
Right? If you rub your finger on the edge of the table like this for a long time, what did happen? If you rub your finger on the edge of the table like this for a long time, what did happen? If I rub
If
my
I
finger
rub my
on
finger
the edge of the
on
table
the edge of the
like
table
that for a long
like that
time,
for a long time,
I'd get sore finger.
I'd get sore fingers.
Very good. Okay, tell me the name of a company that's famous for making beautifully designed products. Tell me the name of a company that's famous for making beautifully designed products, please. The name of a
The name
company
of a
that's
company
famous for
that's
making
famous for
beautifully
making
designed products
beautifully designed product.
is, okay, just one is
It's Honda.
Honda. Very good. What does the idiom keep your fingers crossed mean? What does the idiom keep your fingers crossed mean? The idiom
The
keep your
idiom
fingers
"keep your
crossed
fingers
means
crossed" means
wish for good luck.
wish for good luck.
Right, give me an example. Give me an example, please. It's quite a cloudy
It's
day
quite a crowded
for a
day
picnic,
for a
so
picnic,
we'll just have
so we'll
to
just
keep
have
our fingers
to keep
crossed.
our fingers
It
crossed.
doesn't rain.
It doesn't rain.
Very is it the custom in your country for people to cross their fingers when they wish for something? If not, what do they do instead? Is it the custom in your country for people to cross their fingers when they wish for something? If not, what do they do instead? Yes or no?
Uh,
No,
no,
it isn't the custom
it isn't the
in
custom
my country
in
for
my
people
country
to
for
cross their
people to
fingers
cross their
when they
fingers
wish for
when they
something.
wish for something.
Instead, they
Instead,
put their hands
they
together.
put their hands together.
Very good. Give me an example of a compound adjective made by putting an adverb or adjective together with a participle. Give me an example of a compound adjective made by putting an adverb or adjective together with a participle, please. A beautifully designed jacket.
A beautifully designed
Jacket. A
jacket.
slow moving train.
A slow moving train.
Which do you think is more important for a long lasting marriage, love or respect? Which do you think is more important for a long lasting marriage, love or respect? I think
I think love
is more important
is more
than
important
respect
than
for a
respect
long lasting
for
marriage.
a long-lasting marriage.
Which is the most well known restaurant in your town? Which is the most well known restaurant in your town? ABC restaurant
ABC restaurant
is the most
is the
well
most
known restaurant
well-known restaurant
in my town.
in my town.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's continue newer. Okay, listen. Sometimes we make compound adjectives by putting an adjective together with a noun that has the letters ed after it. For example, a girl with long hair can be called a long haired girl. Okay, let's practice. Give me an example of a compound adjective made by putting an adjective together with a noun that has the letters ed after it. Give me an example of a compound adjective made by putting an adjective together with a noun that has the letters ed after it, please. A four-legged animal.
A four-legged
A
animal.
legged animal.
Legged animal.
A blue-eyed baby.
A blue-eyed lady.
Baby.
Baby.
Reggie, do you live in a brick-walled building? Do you live in a brick-walled building? Yes or no?
No,
I don't live
I don't
in a
live
brick-walled
in
building.
a brick walled building.
Building. Do you consider yourself to be an open-minded person? Do you consider yourself to be an open-minded person? Yes or no? I
Yes.
consider myself
I consider
to
myself
be an
to be
open-minded
an
person.
open-minded person.
Very good. Next, repeat currency,
Currency,
unit,
unit,
penny,
any,
pence,
pennies,
pence.
pence.
Very good. Okay, listen. Currency is a noun. The currency of a country is the particular money that is used in that country. For example, in the UK, the main unit of currency is the pound. The smaller unit of currency is the penny. 100 pennies make a pound. Okay. Let's practice. What's the main unit of currency in your country? What's the main unit of currency in your country? The main unit of
The main unit
currency
of
in my
currency
country
in my
is the
country,
yen.
it's a yen.
Where in the UK, how many pence make a pound? In the UK, how many pence make a pound? In the UK,
In the
a
UK,
hundred pence
100
make a
pence
pound.
make a pound.
Very good. Okay, listen. We use the word penny. In the UK, they use the word penny to talk about the coin itself. The plural is pennies. For example, if you are holding 6 pennies in your hand, then you are holding 6 coins in your hands. However, they use the word pence to talk about the value of the penny. For example, we say this cake cost 90 pence instead of saying 90 pennies. Let's practice. When do we use the word penny and when do we use the word pence? When do we use the word penny and when do we use the word pence? We use the
We
word
use
penny
the word
to
penny
talk about
to talk
the
about
penny coin itself,
the penny coin itself,
whereas we use
whereas we
the
use
word pence
the word
to
pence
talk about
to
value.
talk about the value.
Very good. Okay, listen. Instead of saying pence, people usually just say p. For example, this pencil costs 70p. Let's practice. What do people usually say instead of pens? What do people usually say instead of pens? People usually
People
say P,
usually say pen,
P, P
P
instead of pens.
instead of pence.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Could you possibly
Could you possibly
lend me 60p,
lend me
please?
60p, please?
Very good. Next, repeat. Slow down.
Bit slow down,
Slow down.
slow down,
Speed up.
speed up.
In addition to.
In addition to,
Very good. Okay, listen. Slow down is a phrasal verb. It means to become slower or to make something slower. Speed up is the phrasal verb. It is the opposite of slow down. To speed up means to move or happen faster. For example, if I am late for a very important appointment, I have to speed up my car. In addition is the synonym of besides. It is used to add another piece of information to what you just have said. For example, after every class, I review or study my lesson at home. I study English at home in addition to attending lesson at a school to speed up my progress in learning. Let's practice. When we speak about driving a car, what's the opposite of to slow down? When we speak about driving a car, what's the opposite of to slow down? When we speak about
when we
driving
speak
a
about
car,
driving a car,
the opposite
the
of to
opposite
slow down
of slow down
is to speed up.
is to speed up.
If you study English at home in addition to attending lesson at school, can you speed up your progress in learning? If you study English at home in addition to attending lesson at a school, can you speed up your progress in learning? Yes. If you
Yes,
study English
if you study
at
English
home
at
in
home,
addition to
in
attending
addition
lessons
to attending
at a
lessons
school,
at the
you
school,
can speed up
you can speed
your
up
progress in learning.
your progress in learning.
Very good. Next, repeat. Forbid, forbade, forbidden. Forbid,
Forbid,
forbade, forbidden.
forbade, forbidden.
Very good. Okay, listen. Forbid is a verb. The three forms of forbid are forbid, forbade, forbidden. It means to tell someone that they are not allowed to do something or that something is not allowed. For example, when I was a little child, my mother told me not to talk to people I don't know. She forbade me to talk to people I don't know. Let's practice. What are the three forms of forbid? What are the three forms of forbid? The three forms
The three
of
forms
forbid
of
are
forbid
forbid,
are
forbade,
forbid,
forbidden.
forbade, forbidden.
When your parents forbade you to do something when you were a small child, did the fact that it was forbidden sometimes just make you want to do it even more? When your parents forbade you to do something
May,
when you were a small child, did the fact that it was forbidden sometimes just make you want to do it even more? Yes or no?
yes.
When my
When,
parents
when my parents
forbade me,
forbade, for,
forbade me
forbade me
to do something
to do
when
something
I was a child,
when I was a
the
child,
fact that it was
the
forbidden
fact that it was forbidden
sometimes
sometimes
just
just me
made
made,
me, just made
just
me
just made me
want to do it even more,
want to do it more,
even more.
even more.
Very good. One more. Yes, when my
Yes,
parents
when my
forbade
parents
me to do
forbade
something
me to do
when
something
I was a
when
small
I
child,
was a small
the
child.
fact that it
The
was
fact that
forbidden
it was
sometimes
forbidden
just made me
sometimes just made
want to
me
do it even more.
want to do it even more.
Very good. Okay, now let's move on to reading. Very good.
Yep,
Okay, reading is at stage 7, paragraph page 568. Last
yep.
headword was lacked. Okay, start with the first question.
668,
568. 568.
568. Lack sufficient credit. When you lack sufficient money to buy something, do you wait and save the money or do you buy it on credit? When I lack sufficient money to buy something, I save the money. I wait and save the money.
Mhm.
Why? Because to buy it on credit is dangerous.
Right.
What do you think your town is lacking in more than anything else? I think my town is lacking in parks more than anything else.
Mhm.
Is there a serious lack of food in some countries in the world? Yes, there's a serious lack of food in some countries in the world. Neighbor, next door neighbor, neighboring, neighborhood. Get on well. Who's your neighbor in this classroom? My 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 neighbor in my neighbor in this classroom is Mr. Tanaka.
Mhm.
Who do you think it
Why?
is?
Why do you?
Why do you think it is that some people just don't get on well with their next door neighbors? I think the person that
Well,
some
I think the
people
reason.
I think the reason that some people just don't get on well with their next door neighbors is that we can choose our friends but can't choose our neighbors. Do you ever go to a neighboring town to do some shopping? Yes, I sometimes go to a neighboring town to do some shopping. Why? Because there is a big shopping mall in the next neighboring town. Which do you think is the most present neighborhood in this town? I think Maxwell is the most present neighborhood in this town. Are there quite a few shops in the neighborhood of this school? Yes, there are quite a few shops in the neighborhood of of the school.
Mhm.
Bible. What's the name of the holy book for Christians? The name of the holy book for Christians is the Bible. March order.
Tiring.
Ti- tiring. Why do soldiers march? Soldiers march because marching helps maintain order, and also because it's faster and less tiring.
Very good. Okay, so we stop there for today, but very